Hey, Ash. All of my videos start like that. I'm starting to see a trend. I'm just like, hey,
I love it. It's good. It's your thing.
it's my thing now. Okay, so I want to jump right into our fifth episode of Champion Chats with dancer, performer, and teacher, Ashley Smith-Wallace. So, how are you? Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This is so cool. I'm doing okay. I'm hanging in there. Thank God the weather is getting nice because now I can be outside more. So that's been a blessing. But yeah, I'm doing all right. Try to stay with it.
Yeah, I know. We'll get into all of that with staying motivated and everything. So I know that's been a big question. So we'll have a whole section about that. So you're our very first TC guest. We're really excited to do this with somebody who has been on both sides of the studio. I think the best way to jump into this is to ask you to share your story from dancer to teacher. How did you get here?
Oh wow. Okay. How much time do we have? No, I'm just kidding. So I'll give you a little snippets of both. I think for those of you that don't know me, I've been dancing for way too many years. I won't reveal my age here because I'm definitely older than some of the other people you've had on this blog, but still dancing, so that's good.
Yeah.
No, I've been dancing for a long time. I'm a three-time world champion, uh, four-time All-Ireland champion, a bunch of national regionals. I can't remember all of them, but that was amazing part of my life. Competed up until I was a junior in college, and I actually did still compete through college, which was tricky, but I found the ways to make it work. And 2 years ago, I'm pretty sure it was 2 years ago. I'm really bad with dates. I just received my TCRG and I was certified. I took my exam in Shannon in Ireland, and I now teach with my parents, Smith Houlihan Academy of Irish Dance. So, and I've done a lot of things in between. I did Irish dancing throughout my entire childhood and teenage life, and then I took a sort of a hiatus. I went in and did a lot of musical theater, and I toured with a bunch of different shows, both Irish and musical theater. And then now I'm sort of making my way slowly back into Irish dancing by teaching.
It always happens like that. I mean, when I stopped competing, I was being told, "Oh, get your TC," and I was like, "No, no, no. I don't really know if I want to be a part of Irish dancing that much. I didn't see it fitting in at the time, and now look, I'm back doing this." So we always find our way back.
Yeah, and it's I always say to people when they're like, "Oh, you're an Irish dancer," and they ask me about what is Irish dancing? What's the community like? And I'm like, it's actually a very small, little tight-knit family, and it's sort of you always find your way back home. And having both my parents as my teachers growing up, I kind of, because I was like you for the longest time, I was like, no, I don't need it. I'm teaching other dance styles. I'm good. I don't, but I think I did it more of a way to honor them, and just because I knew it would make my dad proud. So I'm glad I did it, because
yeah. Well, you have it. Yeah, now you have it. So it's funny you brought up sitting the TC exam, because we did get a question from a follower that asked how did you go about, or did you feel any pressure sitting for your TC exam, knowing that you were a world champion, your parents are teachers? I mean, there had to be a lot of pressure with that.
Oh, yes. I think I felt about the same amount of pressure studying for my TC and taking my TC as I did when I was trying to defend my world title. So yeah, it's definitely on the same spectrum. It was tough because, like I said, I was a big part of me doing it for my parents at the time. So I tend to put a lot of pressure on myself personally, and actually this whole situation of being at home and being stuck just in my house has made me really realize that I need to stop doing that. I need to just know that I've done so many great things and be proud of myself. So that's what I've been working on the past couple of months. But yeah, it was a lot of pressure because I wanted to make my parents proud. I didn't want to walk into that room and have somebody go, oh, she's the world champion. She's going to dance like she did in 2009 when she won her last Worlds, which I know they were, but I was like, it's been a minute, you know, since I danced a set dance. So please, it's like, you know, world class dancing. But everybody was super supportive, and you know, I did the work. I studied, I made note cards. I spent a year just like really buckling down, and thank God I passed. That's all I have to say.
And I know that's always been kind of a fear in the back of my head as well, is if I ever took it, I'd feel so much pressure to not fail and to just get it on the first time. So.
And my dad actually did say that to me. He's like, there's been many world champion dancers that, you know, go in and take it for the first time and they don't pass. I mean, I know a couple of personal friends that are amazing dancers and have so many titles. And people have to understand too, it's one thing to be a world champion, but it's another thing to take this exam and be a teacher. It's very different. It's like taking your SATs. And I was never good in school.
Yeah.
I struggled like hard. Didn't even think I would go to college. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And if you miss a section or whatever, or you fail a section, just retake that part. Like keep taking it. You can, don't give up.
That's good advice for somebody taking the TC. I mean, we do have a lot of young followers, but we also have older followers who are trying to balance college and dance and all that stuff. So, I mean, while we're on that topic, how did you, because you won your last title as a senior lady, correct?
Yes, I did. Yep, 2000.
In college.
I was in college. I was a junior.
Okay, so how did you balance all of that and practicing away at school while also being the best in the world?
So a lot of my students have, the kids that I teach now, they ask me, they're going through that end of high school, transitioning into college. And they're like, is it possible to still dance? Can I compete? And I was thinking, like, yourself as being a competitive Irish dancer, you really have to put in at least 4 to 5 days a week of practicing. So it's tough. I definitely, myself personally, when I went, I did it, so it's possible. But you really have to time management is key. You have to really put in the time. So what I did was freshman year, I was practicing, but not as much as I should have been. And then sophomore year, I actually changed my schedule. I worked with my mentors so that I didn't have to take classes on Friday. And I went to college in New York. So what I would do is I would go to school Monday through Thursday, and then I would drive home and practice on the weekends with my parents. Now, I know a lot of kids can't do that because they fly and they travel to different colleges, and it's not as easy. But I know a lot of schools have Irish step dancing clubs, and
throughout college, I would practice with another school.
Right.
During the week, and then same thing, I think probably the month leading up to Worlds, I would go home Friday, Saturday, Sunday, drive back Monday morning, and have the full weekend of privates and practice or whatever. But yeah, same thing, a lot of dedication.
Yeah, you have to I feel like it's something that you have to really want, you can't just be doing it to do it, because you're going to be wasting your time when you could be having fun with your friends. If it's something you really are passionate about, I say it is absolutely 100% capable. You're capable, and it's worth.
Yeah, it's possible, but it's a commitment, it's a sacrifice, and I don't regret anything. So
Right, exactly, same. And it kind of teaches us a lesson for future, post college. I'm in a different place in my life now where I'm married and I'm an adult or trying to be. And if it wasn't for dance and all of those times that I had to learn time management, I had to really sort of prioritize my life, I don't think I would know how to live in the real world. So I think it's a good lesson for a lot of teenagers going through that transition.
Okay, transition into another part, I want to share a fun fact. I don't know if you've realized this, but we actually won Worlds the same year, 2005 and 2009. So for it was my first win in 2005. It was your second win, right? That next year, we were both named top 100 Irish Americans together, along with some pretty crazy names like George Clooney, Tom Brady, and my favorite, Misha Barton.
Oh, oh my gosh. Yeah.
From the OC.
We went to that event together.
Yeah, so we were backstage and everything. But my point is that I was only 12 at the time. So it was all very new to me. I mean, it was my first time winning Worlds. That was overwhelming. Then being named top 100 and being in a room with some really inspirational people was overwhelming. And at the time, it was very rare for an American to win the world championships. I know personally I was only the 7th female American to win, so you must have been 5th or 6th. I don't know if you know. But
I know at the time when I won my first Worlds, at the time I had been the youngest American female.
We were just in the beginning of Americans starting to win, and I remember thinking back that it seemed like such an impossible feat. Like, it seemed that it was an unattainable goal at the time. And I had this feeling that crept in from time to time throughout my dancing career, that there was a sense of defeat before even getting to the competition. So I'm sure a lot of other dancers struggle with that. Do you ever remember having similar thoughts to that, or, how you dealt with going in with the right mindset?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said yourself, I feel personally too that growing up dancing and competing in the Worlds, I mean, it took me 17 years to win my first World. It was maybe not 17, but around 15 or 16.
Wow.
And I constantly I was there. I was the top 5 for so many years. And I was just my dad always used to say, "You're knocking on the door."
Yes.
But it was absolutely what you said, going back every year and knowing that I was good enough, but there was still that kind of oh, but she's an American. I don't know if we can give it to her. And there would always be little things that people would say to me oh, well, your socks were not the right color, or your tan, or your dress. They would find silly things that had nothing to do with my personal talent. It was just a way to find an excuse. And I absolutely felt that pressure. But I think, well, I don't think, I know that so my parents actually, it was the Worlds in Scotland. I want to say it was 2003. It was in Glasgow, and I got 5th. And that was kind of my breaking point. I was I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I'm so tired of people telling me that I should have been the winner, but I didn't win. So my parents actually sent me to Ireland. I started training with a coach over there, Jacqueline Kennedy of the Carson Kennedy School, and she changed my life. And between her and my dad kind of coming together and help molding me, they created this new style for me, but kept the things that I was good at. And it was a new and improved me. But anyway, I went back the next year. I got 2nd, and that's the highest I had ever been in 2004. And I'll never forget, my dad actually said to me, I came off the stage and he was like, "Ash, this is amazing." He was like, "But I think this is as good as it gets." And I was something in my mind just clicked. And I was nobody else thinks I can do this. You were the only person that was with me from the beginning that kept saying "You're so close, you're so close." And it's not my dad gave up on me, but it was more of the fact that I think he was just, "This is great. Let's take it. Let's end here. Let's be done." And then a switch just clicked inside, and I was no, I am going to do this. And I just took all of that pressure and all of those comments that people used to say to me, "You're the best, you should win, but you didn't," or whatever, the negativity. And I used that as my fuel. And sure enough, next year I went back and I won it. And it was the best day ever.
I have chills.
It was the best day ever.
Oh my God. I love that. I didn't know these little things about you. I've known you for so long, and it's like hearing these new stories. It's, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. I love
And
that.
it's like kids nowadays, they're out there, and I see all of these kids that are winning after, title after title. And that's got to be so hard on them, and the pressure,
Can't even
you
imagine.
know, I, I know,
I
I remember.
remember after winning my first title in Worlds, I had gotten ninth the year before, and I like came out of nowhere and won. Not came out of nowhere, but
Yeah, but it was amazing.
And then after that, the next competition, that British Nationals that followed a couple months later, I remember feeling so sick because I was like, what if people think it's a fluke?
Yeah.
I have to prove myself. And it was so much harder than I had ever imagined before any competition. And then I ended up winning, but like I remember feeling that pressure of like trying to prove myself again.
Mm.
So yeah, it happens to all of them. So the people that have to keep doing it over and over, I cheers to that.
Saying it's like the mindset of an athlete,
Yeah.
you just deal with so many different forms of pressure. But like, if you can kind of like, I feel like I always have to revert back to myself, and I have to remind myself, especially now, I still deal with this in my everyday life, like post college,
Yeah.
post competition world. I was out auditioning in New York City to try to be on Broadway, and it's like
Rejection after rejection after rejection.
rejection, and like, or like, if you get that Broadway gig, then it's like, oh, what's her next Broadway show going to be, or what's her, it's always going to be constant pressure. But if you can like, and this is something I'm still personally working on, and I'm so glad that like you talk about like your mind and your mental health, because it's so true that like being an Irish dancer, competitive Irish dancer, an athlete, a performer, anything, you just really have to be able to like tap into your inner brain or soul and be like, I'm doing this for myself. I don't care what other people think. I want this. And like, I set my mind to
connecting to your why. That's our big thing here.
Yes, exactly. Like, why are you doing this? And do it for yourself.
Yeah, 100%. So something you mentioned in that conversation about your style, I've obviously seen you dance on stage, and it's truly captivating. Like, your presence is captivating. It's something that like I can distinctly remember, and it just makes me happy thinking about you dancing. Sometimes we think of competitors and performers as two different roles to fill, but I think the reality is that the best competitors are also performers, because they win because they put on the best show. So you always look like you're having so much fun. You're light and energetic and bubbly, which is exactly like your personality. So I'm really curious how you're able to let go of any anxiety and translate your personality onto the stage.
Yeah, well, thank you. First of all, that's so sweet of you. I I dance because I like to make people happy, and I think this was also something that helped me along my competitive journey more towards the end. And I think seriously, that's why I like I said, I won that first world, because something just clicked inside of me. When I get on the stage, I try to, after looking for my parents to make sure that someone's there to like, calm me down.
Yeah.
I like to find like families, like I know this sounds super weird, but I like to look for like the mom or the dad that maybe doesn't know what Irish dancing is, and they just came to like support their niece or nephew, or or like the dad that has no idea that his daughter's doing a reel or a jig. You know what I mean? And I like to look for those people. I completely bypass the judges. No offense, judges. I love you, but like I can't look at you. And I look for those people, and I try to perform for them. I think about it as like, oh, they paid an admission to get into this competition today, so they want to be entertained. And I think if you go out there with the mindset of you're doing it for somebody else, I know I'm kind of like flipping the switch here a little, because I keep saying like I do it for myself, which I do. But then when the time comes and you're out there and you're performing, if I know that I'm making other people happy or they're enjoying my performance, then it's like, I'm like, wow, I'm so proud of myself. I did that. So
Yeah.
I think that's what helps me get through the anxiety. I also pray a lot and I breathe a lot, because to be honest, I always am like sweating and nervous. So
Yeah. No, I mean, whatever you do works because I can tell you, it just seems like you're having so much fun and it sounds like that's exactly what you go out to do. So this is a lesson to everyone watching that if you truly are having fun and performing, it will come off that way.
yeah, it's
So,
awesome.
something that we touched upon in the beginning a little bit about being motivated. We got a ton of questions about staying motivated. I know that you have dancers that I'm sure are reaching out to you about that. Um, Now that you're a teacher, you have that perspective. How have you been motivating your students to keep up with training, whatever that means right now? And how are you motivating yourself?
Yeah, it definitely, especially now in with this COVID and everything, it's been a lot more challenging. And I think that when all of this is over, please God, and we come out of it, we're going to be 500,000 million times stronger than we were when
Yes.
we went through it. So I keep trying to tell my students, just look at the light at the end of the tunnel. And this is a good life lesson. It kind of, being stuck inside in our homes for quarantine, not being able to be at our studios, seeing our teachers or our friends, it really is a challenge. And it makes you think like you could go one way or the other. You can say, I'm going to put all that negativity behind me. I'm not going to let this coronavirus or anything else get to me. And I'm going to just have fun and keep dancing and do what I love. Or you can sit and sulk the days away. And I just feel like it's very easy to go one way or the other, but I'm trying to, for me personally, I actually used to like write in my journal when I was younger, and I stopped doing that for the longest time. I don't know why, but I started just at the end of every night, like I jot down a few ideas of like what I want to do for the week or what I did for today, just so I can like look back or look at it the next morning and be like, oh, I have a plan. I have some, I have something to do. And also I'm a huge believer in vision boards. So my vision board has
Attention
changed.
is so
Oh
important.
my God. And I'm a visual learner. So like I have to see it. I have to like get up every morning and I see that picture of, like for me personally, I've been trying to get back into shape. Because after tour, I kind of took a little hiatus. So I'm trying to like get back. So I have like this picture of like a woman, she's like working out. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to work out today.
Yeah.
But I definitely think things that help me are like making a vision board and jotting down a few ideas at the end of your day of things you're going to do, tomorrow or future. And just, even if you just write it down, I feel like you're taking the next step in the right direction.
Yeah.
So, and also like, it's so cool to see all these younger dancers out there. I'm trying to be cool like them, but we'll see what happens.
On
They're
TikTok.
all on like TikTok and
Yeah.
they're
I
getting so
know.
creative. It's
So
awesome.
creative. And
It's
that's
so
like
cool.
that's what I was kind of I was trying to write a blog post because we are going to be launching a website for this soon and we're going to be putting up some blog posts that I think will be helpful for people. And one of them that I was trying to do was on staying motivated, and I wrote that, you know, I don't think now is the the time to say to yourself that you have to be the absolute best dancer you're ever going to be. You don't have to compete tomorrow. You don't have to compete next week. You're not going to wake up and they're going to say, a Oireachtas is happening tomorrow. Like, it's not going
Right.
to happen overnight. So you have some time to like just truly take a step back and be creative. If you like making up choreography, get up and do a treble reel every day, like as long as you're putting on your shoes, I think that's progress and that's just staying involved. And I know that a lot of dancers are probably thinking, what's the point? Oireachtas might be canceled now. Who knows what's happening next year? So,
Right.
like you said, the light at the end of the tunnel, that's great and all. And I'm just trying to challenge you because I'm sure people watching this will be like, well, how can we look at the light at the end of the tunnel when we don't know what that looks like? So how do you wrap your head around I mean, I know that like day by day is a great thing, but how do you keep saying to them, light at the end of the tunnel? If it's not this competition, it'll be the next competition.
Well, I also think too, something that I've learned post like competition is great. Don't get me wrong. I love going to the world championships. I love nationals, Oireachtas. I think they're amazing.
Yep.
But remember why you dance in the first place.
Yeah.
You don't dance to win a trophy or a medal, because those medals and trophies are going to sit on your shelf and collect dust. You know what I mean? You dance because you like to challenge yourself, or you like to create choreography, or you like to express yourself. I dance because, like you said earlier, when I get on stage, I smile, I have a good time. Like, that's my way of expressing that I love what I'm doing and I'm happy. And I think, and I'm so glad you said that, because yes, I have had so many kids be like, yeah, but the light at the end of the tunnel. Well, nationals just got canceled now. Like, what do we do? What if Oireachtas gets canceled? And it's like, yeah, and you know what? There's a really good chance Oireachtas might get canceled, but it's okay, because 10 years from now, there's going to be another Oireachtas. There's going to be another world. And all right, and then I know kids come back and they say, well, I'm a senior lady, I'm aging out. I understand that too. But you have to then sort of look at life and say, okay, well, what else can I do? I've trained so hard. I'm this incredible Irish dancer. Maybe I want to like go audition for a river dance or for a show or whatever, you know. It's, I guess, finding the light at the end of the tunnel means like finding other ways to make yourself happy. It's not just about competition.
Yeah, and you hit upon everything, and I'm so glad that I came back with that, because
that's great.
Is like just putting your love for Irish dancing into other things. And like I said, it doesn't have to be training your steps. It can be doing routines that we've seen so many collaborations on Instagram. Like, that's so what you should be doing right now. Just having fun with it, you know?
Yeah, I know this might sound a little bold of me to say, but in a way, I think this COVID quarantine was a little bit of a blessing in disguise for all of us. I mean, obviously it's not a blessing.
Well, there's a silver lining to
I mean, when would you ever see all these amazing Irish dancers getting up on Instagram and doing, like you said, these collaborations? It is the coolest thing ever. And it sort of brings that light back into, not that the light was ever gone, but like it brings a light into Irish dancing, and it makes you love it in a different way and appreciate it.
It's always so serious, especially leading up to Worlds and even Nationals a little bit, but especially before Worlds, when this all started to hit, it was so serious. So it's nice to just see people getting out and doing, and like different schools crossing over and different commissions, and just seeing everybody get involved.
Yeah, for sure.
So now all of our guests go through a lightning round of questions at the end, just to lighten things up a little bit. Ready? Are you an early bird or a night owl?
I am a night owl.
Ooh, okay. Favorite food?
Oh my gosh. I am from New England, so I am a big seafood fan. I actually just had lobster last night, so I love the summer, and yeah, anything seafood, I love it.
Hard shoe or soft shoe?
Ooh, oh my gosh, this is a hard question.
I'm great at both. I can't even pick.
Oh my God, it's so hard. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I'm gonna go with soft shoe.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, yeah, I know, that's a hard one for me.
That is. What was your favorite competition?
I used to absolutely love the Great Britons, because it was in like, back in the day, it was in like at an old school like carnival thing. And it was so much fun.
It was so like, oh God.
It was, right? Was that, and also Nashville, Tennessee Nationals, the Gaylord Opryland. Oh my God, loved it.
Yeah. And the last one, 3 people that you'd want to be quarantined with.
Oh wow. Well, my husband, obviously, actually, we're doing really good. No, I'm just kidding. My husband, my dog, for sure. And oh my gosh, I can only pick 3. That's so hard.
I know. I feel so bad asking you 3. Maybe we should up it to like 6 for you. You need your whole family.
I know, like my whole family, and then like my friends. No, my best friend, Ashley, she's like crazy and fun, and she always like has great, like she's goofy, and she has good shows and stuff to watch. So yeah, I would have to say her too.
Good answer. Last but not least, what's one piece of advice that you'd like to give our followers today?
I would just say, I know I said this a bunch of times before, but do it for yourself. And also everything that you're learning right now, whatever age you are, take those lessons and remember them, and remember how you dealt with them, because you're going to need it in the future. I am going through, like I said, a transition where I'm becoming an adult, living a different lifestyle now than I was when I was a kid competing. But every single thing that I learned along the way, training for the World Championships, and I learned how to like be happy and be proud of myself. And I'm taking that into my life now and I'm trying to apply it. So just be kind to yourself and be you. Don't be anybody else. There's only one you, so just be you.
Keep it simple, just be you.
Just be you. I should get a t-shirt.
Yeah, do it. That was a great answer. Okay, thank you so much for coming on today, Ash. This was so much fun. It was fun to catch up with you. I love talking to you, truly. It's been so much fun.
I miss you.
It's just been so long. When this is all over, we'll get together in the city.
Yeah,
okay,
for sure.
Great. It's my face you see on the champion chats, but I'm representing a whole team at the Well Winner, Alana, Heather, and myself. For everyone watching, keep your eyes on our stories for more installation of the champion chat series, and of course for that question bubble to ask our guests and our team any questions you have. Thank you again, Ash. I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye, girl.